Good day and welcome again to another live broadcast. We are so happy to join you here from LuvBay. Um, and it's a privilege for us to be in your homes, wherever you are listening to us. We hope that you will call a friend, call your significant other, and tell them to join Dr. Maria McDonald and myself here at LuvBay. Um, the Marriage Relationship Hour. Dr. McDonald, how are you?
I am doing well, Dr.
Good.
Alvin, and it's good to be on the program again today.
Yes, it's good to see you. It's good to see
Yeah.
you. And we have this wonderful topic that we will discuss. And I know for the last 3 weeks, we've been discussing dealing with toxic relationships and how to identify toxic relationships, um, whether you're in it, whether you are the recipient of toxic relationship or whether you are the perpetrator of the that's in the toxic relationship, and we talked about that. And today though we want to switch gears a little, and we want to deal with okay, how do you start again? there's a song there's a song that we sing. There's a famous gospel group here in the Bahamas that sings that song. Starting all over again is going to be rough and tough, but we're going to make it. And I want to say to those listening, that's what we will be discussing today. And you joining us at LuvBay Afrobeat Music Talk Radio, your number one Caribbean diaspora online radio show. The station that shares because we care. Yes, yes, that's who this program is brought to you by. And you can send us. We are on LinkedIn, we are on X, we're on Facebook, we are on so many other platforms that you can be a part and you can share. You can share. And we welcome questions and answers. So you could send us a text, you could send us a voice note with your comments and your question and your answer, and we will do our best to answer and send you back our response. But we want to jump in after Dr. Maria has done her introduction. We want to jump in talking about when and how do you start dating again? Doc?
Okay, Dr. Alvin, it's so good to be here in the program, and this is interesting topic. How do you start dating again? And we know that it's not always an easy process, but we are here to shed some light on it. And I believe that we would be able to help someone in the process.
Mhm. Yes. Yes.
So, Dr. Alvin, back to you.
Oh,
Back to you.
yes, we will. Because then too, Doc, when we take this topic and we dissect it and we chop it up, when or how to start dating again tells me that you were dating before. Just that word again says that this is not your first time doing it, but you are doing it again means you have done it before. So I want to talk about the before we start talking about the how and the when. If you are no longer dating, there are a couple of reasons why you may no longer have been dating. One of those reasons could be that your partner that you were dating has died. So so that's a tragedy there that you will have to deal with the loss of a loved one, a potential life partner. Good. Another reason why there could have been a separation is that the person that you were dealing with and you did not see eye to eye. In the relationship was chaotic, it was filled of trauma, it was filled of toxic activity. And therefore, you had to separate yourself from the individual. That's two reasons. A third reason could be why you are no longer dating is life just did not mean for it to be, and you went your separate path. And there are sometimes two persons talk, realize you know what, we enter this to try to find out if you were the right one. We realize after spending so much time with you that you are not the right one, so they part on good grounds, which is good. But there are some people who have to part on not so good grounds, and that then brings hurt and pain. And we know that hurting people hurt people. So, my advice at the outset is that before you decide to go into another relationship, you must deal with the hurt from the relationship that you've just came out of. No questions asked. You got to deal with what you have already encountered. And that dealing has to be that you have to separate yourself. And that's the thing that most people don't like. My number one suggestion to anyone who is coming out of a toxic relationship, coming out of a hurtful environment, is that before you get involved with somebody else, separate yourself and heal. Because you do not want to take that baggage. You do not want to take those wounds into another relationship. Because doing that may be the detriment of the relationship you are now going into. Dr. Maria, your thoughts?
Okay, Dr. Alvin, I listened to you and I totally agree. No one should be going into a relationship immediately after a breakup. But what I want to look at is the length of time they would have been in the previous relationship that they are breaking up from. If that person has been in that relationship for many years, married, and maybe 20, 25 years, they've been in a very long relationship. And to come out of a relationship with that length of time, it means that, it's not a quick fix. I can't see someone coming out of a relationship with that many years, even 10, even 5. You've been married to that person and that relationship has ended, and you come out and you go into another relationship. It cannot be that easy, because what you're looking at now is a damaged person. Depending on how that relationship ended, you could be looking at a person that is damaged, like you
Yes.
said. So if that person is damaged, you cannot just immediately go into another relationship, because it means then you're going to be taking baggage with you. So it's always I would say, Dr. Alvin, I would upfront, I would say, for a person that would have been through many years of in a relationship, I would say 2.5 years may be adequate for that person to get over, to be
Oh,
fully
wow.
recovered.
Yes.
Because looking at hurt, you're looking at pain, and you don't know if the relationship was a toxic, like you suggest. If it was a toxic, that's even worse, because then you're coming out with hurt, and you may be coming out with unforgiveness, because you're going to be hurt that that person did that to you, the way they treated you. You may not have been deserve it. I would say anyone, you shouldn't deserve it. If you are being if you are being honest and fair to that person.
Mhm.
So it means then that that person have to give themselves some time to fully recover, Dr. Alvin. Full recovery, meaning you're forgiven, you don't feel any sense of hurt from what took place, and you feel that you trust yourself. You're now ready to go into a relationship.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
it's not as easy as it may seem. You could say, well, oh, he or she didn't want me, so I can go on with my life. I go find somebody else. But you take that hurt with you, and chances are you're going to hurt the other person one way or the other. You may hurt the other person because when you reflect on what your spouse may have done to you before, then sometime you may find yourself snapping at the new person, you know, because our thoughts take us back to those hurtful time, and then we will be, taking it to the new person. So for me, I would say they should give themselves some time to fully recuperate, to fully get over the hurt before they consider dating again.
Okay. Wow. Wow. That is so true, dog. Because I have seen situations where people um, had ruined a good thing because of past relationships. And
Hmm.
what I mean by that is that they've come in to the relationship that they're currently in, and they start abusing, treating the spouse. Actually, they're given this partner that they have, whether it's man or female. They're given that partner um, what should have been given to the past relationship person.
Yeah,
Um,
that's right.
and and that's not right. You are not right if you beaten me with a stick for a problem that somebody else caused.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, and that is what is happening. And to talk, we need to get into this because me and you are on the same page here. That before you get into this new relationship, um, you need to heal. You need to have your time of separation so that you could go through that healing process. Now, my question is going to be, and my question is, how does that look? How does healing, how does one know that they are healed? How does one know that I am now over the hurt and the pain from the previous relationship? Because I've heard Dr. McDonald said um, 2.5 years. But what if you over in 6 months? What if it takes you 10 years to get over what that person has done and the hurt that they have inflicted upon you? So, how long should you take? That is my question. How long should you take before you can be able to join another relationship? And my answer to that question is you take as long as it takes that you can heal. And what do I mean by healing? Um, let's say this: if you break your leg, the doctor's gonna put a cast on it until he says it's healed. What does that mean? That means that the brokenness is mended. That means that the bones have been restored. And then the doctor comes and he cuts off the cast. But what was the cast for? The cast was extra support. So you could get the healing that you needed. That member could be healed while the other members were functioning.
I love that scenario, Dr. Alvin.
Go on.
I love the scenario that you just gave
Yeah.
because it all depends on that individual.
Mhm.
However, if you need the 10 years to heal, it means that you should not be dating. Because you should, if you're not healed, do not try to go into another relationship, in other words. Because if you go in, you're going to carry the same hurt. You will be carrying the same, all the pain from your past, you will be taking it into your new relationship.
Yep.
So it means then if you are slowly healing, heal.
Yeah.
So and Dr. Alvin, it also means that everyone do not recover at the same time
And at the same rate.
and
Yes.
at the same rate. And that's why I said 2.5 years, because I mean, the process will, it depends on the individual, but at the same time, if you really want to get over, then you're going to have to do some additional things to help yourself. You're going to have to release that person that hurt you. You will have to consciously make up your mind, I am ready to move forward. So I am going to release them. Now, Dr. Alvin, if that person is hoping that we can get back together, I can understand why they would take a longer time in letting go, because you're hoping to go back into that relationship. So therefore, you're not moving quickly. And that's
Yes.
fine if that's the approach you want to take. But if that person, Dr. Alvin, has moved on and you are delaying yourself because you're hoping that you can get back, that may not be good for you, for the person.
Because that's the baggage there, dog.
Exactly. And we need to know when to let go and move on.
I
And,
agree.
and Dr. Alvin, I believe that the persons are holding on because they want it to work.
Hmm.
But we sometimes we just have to release. And when you release, then that and you begin to move, that other person may see that they made a mistake. But don't sit and cry and wait.
Yeah. You got to get up.
You have to.
Yeah. And there shouldn't be a time for pity party. You have to
Right.
get up and regroup.
You have
And
to.
and that's why I said, Doc, there must be a time of separation. And that
Hmm.
time of separation is where you go to discover who you are, where you may have fallen off the wagon, what parts are bruised, and then you could present them to God for Him to heal. Um,
Yes.
and the separate is a good big that because it's easier to see the problem at a distance than sometimes it is to be upfront and see the problem.
Yes, you're right. You're right.
So that's why it's good to step back, reevaluate, and then if well after you finish reevaluating and you find yourself at peace, then why not?
Hmm. Yep.
Not pursue the love of your life.
Hmm. I totally agree with that, Dr. Alvin. In some relationship, usually when you would have been with a person for many years, Dr. Alvin, it is not as easy to just move on. I can understand that. But what is so comforting for a person is to sit back, like you just said, look over the situation, see what you could have done differently or how you could have made it better. And if you just sit and just look over the whole picture with an open mind, not to accuse, not to say he should have done or she should have done, but just look over unselfishly, look at the situation, see how you could have made it better. And then, you know, that will help you also for your future relationship, because no one should be going in through anything, Dr. Alvin, and not learning the lesson.
Yes.
If you go through something, learn the lesson well. You know, do not let it be said you're accusing that person, but you are not looking at your faults, right? We all have a part to play. It may be minimum compared to some of the other persons, but at least you will know how to deal with it should it come up again, you know. So
Makes sense.
dating, be, sorry.
No, go
So
on, go on.
yeah, so I see in order for that person to date again, to begin dating, you have to look at all of these scenarios, see how you can do it better, how you can do it differently, and to see how you feel. Every time you see that person, how do you feel? Are you still hurt? Are you still rowing, telling them off, giving them a piece of your mind, as you would say? Because every time you see them, you're still, if you are at that point, you are still feeling that pain, you're not ready for a second relationship. So when you talk about dating again, you have to consider all of these. And I mean, Dr. Alvin,
Yeah.
even in the case of the death of a spouse, right? You feel that, okay, I have to move on, but you are still in pain. So being in pain, you may keep referring back to your spouse. If you go into a new relationship and everything you talk about is your spouse, that's something to create a problem. So that's why we have to get rid of the pain. Uh, some things will forever be with us, but how we deal with it is what matters.
That is so true, Doc. It's how we deal because too, the person that you may have broken up with might be your lifelong partner. It's just that y'all aren't on the same wavelength now.
That's right.
Because I've heard of
That's right.
situations where persons have dated, then they had to separate, and a year or two they came back, and they've been married 20 some 30 years. So
Mm-hmm.
so that's why the separation and the going through the healing process. What does that mean when I say the healing process? Those wounds are
Mm-hmm.
mended. There's no
That's right.
more pain. When you see that person in the food store, you don't want to have to kill them. You're not feeling the killing them ain't coming over you.
Mm-hmm.
That feeling of not wanting to talk to them, that pettiness, that low, that oh, I want to do them in and all of that stuff. No, you gotta let them things go. You gotta flush them out of your system because the longer you hold them, and I'm a firm believer in this, Doc. You could go, you could throw in your 2 cents here. The longer you hold them, they will feed to a spirit of bitterness and resentment, and that
Exactly.
spirit can lead to physical problems. You get arthritis.
Exactly.
You you
Mm.
you you, you have pain in your chest, upset
Mm-hmm.
stomach, all these kind of things. And Doc, you said it at an event that we were at on Tuesday that the Bible says that we must confess our sins one to
Mm-hmm.
another, and you made it
Mm-hmm.
clear that in that confession that brings healing, physical
It does.
healing, and there are many
It
people
does.
who are sick because they just balling all of that stuff in. Oh, I see him, and that makes my blood boil, or I don't know what to do. Yeah, those type of
Mm-hmm.
things you gotta let them go, cause
Oh yeah.
you let people live in your brain rent free.
I like that. Yes. They're
And
living
that's
in
what they
your brain
want.
rent free. Hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. If people can live in my brain, they have to pay something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Totally agree
dog.
with that. I totally
Yeah.
agree with that. So, in other words, what you're saying, we should not allow any man, woman, boy, or girl to control us by
Yes.
causing us to hold them in our hearts.
Yes.
And that is so true. I've heard someone said that the medical doctor said that when you hold in people, you hold in things, it will make you sick. We don't need those type of sickness because we refuse to release someone.
Yeah.
So, the quicker we get rid of it, the better we feel.
So
And for
true.
some people, it will mean starting life all over again. And in that case, Dr. Alvin, when you have to start over, it may not be tough. It may not be rough because you are learning yourself. Now, if you have to go
Yes.
in with somebody else, that's a different.
Yeah. See,
But you're
and
learning
Doc,
yourself.
I say that starting over again helps you to find out your limits, your boundaries, things you will
Hmm.
accept, things you will not, what you like, what you dislike. Because technically, if truth be told, and that's what we're doing here today, you should not
Hmm.
have entered into your first relationship until you have dated yourself, until you know what you like and
Exactly.
dislike,
Totally.
until you have come to a place of maturity where you can
Hmm.
say, these are things I will accept, these are things I will not accept.
Wow.
So, so one of the reasons, oh Lord, I know I have to say this one, dog. One of the reasons why people got to start over because they didn't do it right the first time. Ooh,
Wow. So
yeah.
true. So let's do it right.
Thank you. Do it right.
And that's why it's important. And we have talked about it often on the show. Be friend with the person that you intend to marry.
Thank you very much.
Be friend. Learn that person. Learn and while you're waiting on that significant other, learn who you are. Know you
Yeah.
very well.
Uh-huh.
You know, and once we do that, it makes it easy because you know how he's thinking. He knows how you're thinking. But when you come in a relationship and you expect for things to just be good and you didn't contribute to the goodness, then you will see it in a different light.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have to contribute to that. We have to know each other very well. And in cases where some persons may have gotten married when we didn't know plenty of these things, Dr. Alvin. We didn't know plenty of these things. And there are persons that would have gotten married and now you're learning things worked for a while and now it seemed to be going haywire. I mentioned the other day that sometimes marriage go through phases. You have first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and up to the seventh phase. It is when you hit that third phase, that third level, that's when it seemed like there is no more hope for this relationship. We got to let it go. I am tired. I can't deal with it because there has to be adjustment, right?
Yeah.
And when you can't um, deal with that, endure that bit because that's only for a season. And then on to the fourth stage. And maybe we need to talk about the stages, Dr. Alvin, because it will help a lot of people. Some people give up on the third phase when they should just be learning what this is all about, how to deal with it. And then they would have realized, had they stayed in there a little longer, my relationship could have worked, right?
Yes.
So instead of being patient with the third phase level, we give up. We throw in the towel. We call them every name. He is me and she's me and she did this. But
Yeah.
it takes is the patience and knowing what you're dealing with at each phase of the marriage.
That is so true,
So
Doc.
don't and I would say to our audience, don't give up on the third phase. It may seem like everything, Dr. Alvin, has been hurled against some relationship. But if you are patient enough, and the phases we need to talk about it in maybe in our next segment because some of you, if you know the length of how long it lasts, then you will know. Okay, I'm almost over this, and I'll be able to bear it. It takes love. It takes patience in order for you to be able to go beyond.
That's why, Doc, we talked about it some time ago, and I bring it up again. Relationships are not for the weak.
No,
Relationships are,
I agree.
relationships are not for the selfish person.
Hmm.
Relationships are not for the um, people who don't like to stick around, the immature people. You
Hmm.
have to be mature. You
Hmm.
have to be. You have to
Yeah.
be willing to make sacrifices. You have to be willing
Yes.
to say, you know what you said hurt me, but it didn't hurt the
Hmm.
relationship. The
That's
relationship is
right.
still intact. So I need us
Yes.
to deal with the hurt that was inflicted on me. Because
Hmm.
come to think about it, if you are the one I love, you should not intentionally hurt me. So if
That's
you're not
right.
intentionally hurting me, I tell you that I'm hurt. Now let's see how we could fix this.
Hmm.
That's how it should work.
Yeah.
At least that's how I think it should work. And then too,
Hmm.
there's no need to start over again if you are mature, if you are um, in possession of knowledge, and I say it that way, that you know who you are, then why not?
Hmm.
But if you are in a relationship that you know you have to get out, starting over again can be rough because too, when you go into that relationship, what you carry in, what you what goods are you bringing from that relationship to this one? What
Hmm.
what traits, what attributes, what characteristics? Because let's be real with each other, dog. If you hurt me,
Hmm.
I go to another relationship and I see this next person starting to do or behave like you were behaving, then
Right.
my mind can tell me, oh, this one trying to do the same thing to you.
Yes.
And that don't have to be the case.
That's right. That's right. You know, I agree, Dr. Alvin. And that's why, I don't know if you noticed the first year of marriage, you have a lot of problems
Mhm.
because you're coming from a single state and you're moving into a union where you have two different people. Everything about them are different. So it's that getting used to. It's doing things the way you used to as a single person. Now you come in and you have to do it as a married together. So we pass that phase,
Yeah,
and it's not usually easy. Because I
not at all.
remember for me, it came with a little challenge because I'm used to being selfish. I'm used to having it my way, right?
Uh-huh.
I'm used to doing things the way I want. But then I realized it had to be two people. We respect each other. And then begin to move from that place of respect. Because you respect, because we do things differently, okay, I'll be patient. So we learn each other. Then the second year, you have your other challenges. The third year, you have a challenge. So if we are patient, and that's why we often said we have to respect, we have to be patient, we have to be compassionate, and we have all of these things that has to come with a relationship.
Yeah.
If you lack one of them, if you claim to be an impatient person, then you will have problems. People will say, well, I have an anger issue. I have this issue. You have to fix that when you get married. Because
Mhm.
if you go into that relationship with all of that, you're going to have a rough ride until you realize that we're in this together. We have to do things together. We cannot be selfish. Gone are the days of selfishness. So if we are willing to go through all of the changes, stick with it, be patient with each other, then there may be no need to divorce or move away from each other. All it takes is understanding each other. Dr. Alvin, I don't feel that many persons want to go into a relationship just to get out. When you go into a relationship, you go into it to make it work, but you have challenges. And it's all about being able to work out those challenges and being able to see eye to eye. You know, even though we have disagreement, we agree to disagree. And when we cannot live together, when we cannot stay with each other, I wouldn't say to that person, leave. but find out why you cannot be together, why we have to always argue. And once you can resolve that, there may not be a need to break up. But if you have a selfish person, a spouse, the women nowadays, men are claiming they are being mistreated too by wives. Wives are beating the husband, right? Husband beating wives. But if you want that relationship to work, the selfish one, the one that has a problem of beating or hitting their spouse, because for me, that's the extreme, right? And I don't encourage people to stay in a relationship where they're they're being beaten for anything. I don't encourage that, because if that person has a problem beating you for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, then you have to go out for your safety, right? So if you have to come out of a relationship like that, Dr. Alvin, you definitely don't want to rush into anything. And you know what? I find a lot of people nowadays are choosing to stay single. They're choosing to stay single because they feel that there is no hope, especially if they've had um, two failed marriages.
Wow. Yes.
I remember my friend when they got married, the woman that attended the wedding, she had a broken relationship, bad one. But when she saw the love displayed between the couple, she cried and she said, there is really love, right? So it is bad for, in some cases, but it's not the end of the world when you have a relationship that didn't work. And that's why it's important to sit down, learn yourself, see what could have been done differently, and try and make yourself a better person. Do not carry
True.
the hate. Do not carry all the pain from the past, but try to now live your life so that you can be pleased. And I believe, Dr. Alvin, when a person has reached that stage, they will feel good about themselves. You wouldn't have to tell them that it's time to date again.
You shouldn't have to. You shouldn't have
They will.
to. Why?
They will know.
Why? Because
Mhm.
they'll know
They will know.
the 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 release would be evident in their life, and when they go in the food store and see the one who they were in previous relationships with, it's not a let me do you in. It's okay, have a good day, hope things are going well with you. Now I'm
Yeah.
not saying that a proof that you are healed is that you have to make your ex powerful. No, that's not what
Right.
I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that, like Dr. Maria, you got to let them go.
Yes.
You got to let them go and
You let
to
them
be
go.
healed. Yeah, you have to
Mm.
let them go, and you have to then deal with me. There's got to be a me time.
Right.
Shine the spotlight on you. How did you contribute to this breakup? Who
Hmm.
was the wrong? Technically, both of you wrong, but who was the wrong? Who was
Hmm.
in the wrong? How do I make sure this never happens again? Because if you don't do that, next year you'll be in the same place.
Yeah.
10 years from now, every year in between, you have a girlfriend, you break up. You have a boyfriend, you break up. Be Because you're carrying those baggage.
Hmm.
And everybody has their level of baggage that they need to carry. They don't need to carry more.
Yeah. Dr. Alvin,
Yes.
there are now what we've spoken about so far are relationships that have spent some years together, 10 or
Yeah.
more. There are some relationships that may have only been together for 2 to 3 or maybe 5 years, give or take.
Talk as
Now,
long to they don't take that long to get to know.
yeah, but yeah, it is long, but then you have to first that was it a one-sided relationship or was it that both of you were in this together? Because nowadays you see a lot of one-sided relationship whereby one person really cares more about the other person. So I call that a one-sided relationship. He loves her so much, he will do almost anything for her. You know, whatever she wants, he give it. Now, who knows what's going on in the back of his mind? He may be thinking, oh, this is a woman I really want to keep. She may be looking at him that she doesn't want this relationship to go like that. But she's hanging there because he's doing all of the stuff for her. Now, if it's a one-sided relationship, you really have to look at where you would have, how you would have contributed to this one-sided. Is it that you was blinded, that you didn't see she wasn't into you or he wasn't into you? You was pushing this thing all by yourself. Now, in a relationship, for somebody like that, Dr. Alvin, I would say stay in the race. Continue dating. After that person may have left you because they didn't want to be with you. You have to stay in the race. Yes, you may be hurt, right? But the relationship was never solidified where it was both of us caring for each other.
Yeah.
You was all by yourself, right? So in a case like that, for that individual, yes, you may have hurt, but what lesson you should learn from this is that make sure you and that person are friends first. Learn that person very well. See what they are really made of. See what they are offering. See whether this is someone you want to be with the rest of your life. You're not, and I think most of our young people, Dr. Alvin, they see someone that they like, this person, they ideal for me, but they're looking from the outward. They're
Yeah.
not looking to see the qualities person. And then they go vision, and only to find out that person didn't really love you.
Yes.
And that's the sad part, and that's something that we deal with often, you know. And in a case like that, that's hard because it means then you will continue having problems in the relationship should that other individual decide, yes, I will marry him, or yes, I will marry her. And there is no love. There's only one-sided, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And guess what that leads to in the next relationship if you're not healed? You are then the person who
Mhm.
refrain from giving
Yes,
love. Because you said, I've
yes.
already been hurt. I ain't nobody else, I ain't let nobody hurt me.
That's exactly so.
So now this new partner is being starved of what they need because how your old partner treated you.
Hmm. That is so true, Doc. So that is so true. And that is why I believe we have a lot of marital issues, a lot of, especially for younger people, right? Love is not only outward beauty, it has to be more than that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to be connected emotionally, you have to be connected in love
Spiritually
and
as well. Yeah.
respect, spiritually as well.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
with that not being there, Dr. Alvin, we're bound to have problems.
I
We're
agree.
bound to have problems. Yeah.
I agree. Because that's love is a key ingredient in a productive and a meaningful marriage or relationship. Love
Hmm.
is one of the underpinnings of that
Yeah,
relationship. It helps to keep it steady, that and it keeps it firm.
it does.
So if love isn't there, then you wasting your time.
Hmm.
Um, this is what I say, Doc. You don't need love to get married, but you need it to stay married.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. So,
So, so my thing then, Doc, is what is the thing that is drawing for those out there in relationship? What is it that is drawing you to that individual? Is it the qualities that they display? Is it that the infatuation? Because all of these things are a factor to why we would go into a relationship. And I'm not saying it's for everyone, but sometimes we're infatuated with the person.
Yeah.
They make us feel happy. They make
Yeah.
me laugh and all of these good stuff. But is there qualities? Do you see the qualities that you're looking for in the individual?
Mhm.
That is important because
Yeah.
if you do not see the qualities, that
Run.
person is quick to get angry. That's a red flag. If they're quick to get angry over simple things, that's a red flag. And Doc, I believe a lot of women find out a little bit too late.
Yeah. Know why? Because they were governed by excitement. They were
Excitement.
governed by the now. And because you have not mapped out who you are,
Hmm.
what your expectations are, then anything that comes,
Hmm.
you accept anybody who's interested in you. But once you mark out your territory, and what I mean by that, Alvin know what Alvin can handle. Alvin know what Alvin likes.
Hmm.
And and if somebody step to me, which in that right there is a turn off. But if some
Yeah,
female step to me and say, "Boy, I into you," okay, but I ain't into you. How could I make that statement? Because I already know what I like. I already
that's
know
right.
what I'm about.
That's right. That's
But
right.
when people don't know what they're about, doc, they'll accept everybody.
Yeah,
And you have people who change in boyfriend, girlfriend every other week.
yeah. And that doesn't work. So what is a good thing, Alvin, is for persons to sit down and write out what you're looking for in that mate. It's male or female. What are you looking for? What are you hoping to have in the next 10 years? So what type of man you're looking for? What type of woman you're looking for? And for persons that may not have done it and find themselves, Dr. Alvin, right at this point where they are needing to date again. If we check ourselves, don't make the mistake a second time. See exactly what you want. And when you make a list what you're looking for, you're not going to settle for anything that does not look like what you're looking for. You're going to look for someone that fits the criteria that you're looking for. Now, if you did look for someone and you found out that you didn't see all of the things that is now happening, it's okay because we all tend to overlook and fail in things. You tend to not see everything, right? But
Yeah.
this gives you time now to go in and look again and be patient with your looking. Do not rush into another relationship because the person sound like they're nice, they look like they're nice, they have all the things that you're hoping a man would have in terms of material and spiritual and emotional. Make sure when you look at those things, you test them. When you go in to do an exam in the classroom, Dr. Alvin, there's always a test.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
somebody can say they are nice, somebody can pretend they're nice, but you give the test, you watch it. Don't rush into any other relationship. Take your time, do your homework, and
Yep.
make sure that you don't, because when you look back at the one that you're coming out of and you see where you've made mistakes, you see where the mistakes that person made, you use that for your benefit. And now you know what you're looking for. You know what you're not going to do again, and you know how to make it work because you would have
Yeah.
learned from that previous relationship.
And that's the healing there, doc.
Yes,
You just hit the nail right on the head. You learn from the past experience. You grow as a result of it.
yes, yes. And you get
And
better,
when
not
you
bitter.
yes, yes, ma'am. Better not bitter.
Hmm.
Let's put it on a t-shirt. If you haven't grown, if you haven't learned from your past, and if you still stuck there in that previous relationship, then you can't move on. Because when I think
That's
about
right.
moving on, watch this one, Doc. When I think about moving on, that's going into the future, but you living in the
Yes.
past.
Oh, wow. I like that. I
How
like
do you
that.
move
You
on
refuse to
to
let
the
go.
future if you
Yeah.
still holding on to the past? You still living in the past. Oh, Sally said this to me in my
Hmm.
relationship 10 years ago. Now you saying it. Are you gonna do me just like Sally do me? Sally walk out on
Mm,
me, so you can walk out on me too. I ain't Sally.
that's right. That's right. That's good. That's good.
Yeah, and that's what people are doing. That's how people are
Hmm.
living. And until you are able to say, you know what, I can let the past be the past and I'm moving on with my life, you are not
Hmm.
ready to start dating again.
Wow. Wow.
And we
That,
just gotta be truthful to our listening audience, Doc, because some
yeah.
people they
That's,
want to sugarcoat it, because
yes.
all you got to do is you hurting and you can hurt somebody else.
Yes. Yes. And doc, that is why it seems like you're going around in a circle.
Yes.
Because if you're not waiting for healing, then you go into another relationship and you didn't realize that there's this one problem that you didn't resolve. And you go back and you play that same thing over in another relationship, right? So the first thing is to learn the lesson from the previous, what
Learn.
went wrong, and what you need to do to make it better. And that
I
that's
agree.
that's 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 good. Hmm.
I agree, Doc.
Yeah. Yep.
And bringing in what we talked about over the last 3 weeks. If you were involved in a toxic relationship, oh wow, you really need to be detoxified before you can think about going into another relationship. You really need help. And two, if you were the one that was toxic, then yeah, you really need help.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. So it's putting in enough time, looking at the situation and starting over, but
Yeah.
not in a haste. Give yourself some time for, and I would add to that, Dr. Alvin, give yourself some time to rest.
Uh-huh.
You know, it's really taxing on a person when you would have spent years in a toxic relationship. You have to come back out and go
Yeah.
right into another one. Take your time, learn
Yeah.
some new things, which
Yeah.
how you can make it better, and
Uh-huh.
then move forward. Yeah.
Because Doc, you could be in a relationship for so long that the talk the the toxic attitudes and characteristics, you may think they were normal,
Yes.
and
And that's
therefore
the
now
problem.
you have adopted them and you go into this new relationship and you wondering why they different, so you forcing them to try to be normal, uh
Right.
but that ain't normal.
Yeah, right. That's right. So this is a good topic, Dr. Alvin, and I pray that our listeners are able to join us and send us some questions um,
Yeah.
about or comments as to how they deal with their situation. If they would have been through a relationship that didn't work, how did they find that new relationship? Did they move right into a new relationship and it worked? Because the possibilities are there, Dr. Alvin. Some people may
Yes,
have
it is.
moved them and they are so, you know, wise with it. They know what not to carry and they know what to do differently. So you have some people that came out and maybe within months they're back in a new relationship and it's working.
Yeah.
So if there are some in the audience, in our list out there in our audience, maybe they can tell us, how did you do it? How did you make it work the second time around?
And they can tell you by God's help.
And that is good. And I
Yeah,
believe that is good. you
that's
know,
excellent. That's excellent, Doc. Excellent.
yeah.
Mhm. There,
So if Dr. Alvin is making how women or
yeah.
will we are
Uh-huh. Yes, it is. And Doc, life is where we are now is just the sum total of all the decisions we've made in our past.
now.
That's what it is.
That is so true.
And my relationship is with Tanya now is based on all of the decisions I've made in my past and what she's made in her past. But even
Hmm.
that, whether it was good or bad, we we have learned, or you have to learn how to separate the good from the bad, that you keep the good, throw away the bad. Like a friend in St. Louis
That's
always
good.
is saying to me, Alvin, when you eating meat or when you eating fish or eating any kind of meat, you keep the meat and you throw away the bones.
Hmm.
Throw away the bones. Throw
Oh
those
yes,
things away. Those aren't
that's
good
right.
for you.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
good. That's wisdom.
Yeah.
So
It is.
the same thing in the relationship. The things that are not working, little comments that you may say that can cause a big blow up in the relationship. It's sometimes it's just words, Dr. Alvin. You say the wrong word, and you know it, that there's a big brawl going on, right?
Uh-huh.
Or because it wasn't like when you use certain words. So it could be as simple as words. So whatever we need to change, however we need to change it, let's not be selfish. And usually sometimes you change first and then I will change. Or let me see you change first and then I will change. No. Let's always be the first one to make a
Lead by
difference.
example. Yes.
Yeah. Because
Mhm.
when we try to push to the other person, they're pushing back too.
Yeah.
So let's do it and show that other person that I'm willing to give. I'm willing to give it in order to make it better. Yep.
Yep. I agree, Doc. And this was
Hmm.
powerful. This is powerful. We have 2 minutes, Doc. Boy,
Yeah.
the hour has gone by.
Very
And those of
quickly.
you who have been watching, our topic today is when to start uh, dating again. When to start dating again. And that's what Dr. Maria and I have been talking about, trying our best to give you key points and key nuggets that you can use. So, say to your family, your friends, that they can follow us on TikTok, Facebook, IG, LinkedIn, and YouTube. You can follow us, you can subscribe and follow us on these platforms. You can listen online at the link that is displayed there. You can listen there, not just today, but moving forward, you can always join us. So we want to say to our listening audience that we enjoy coming Sunday after Sunday, sharing with you at 3 p.m. on the Relationship Marriage Hour. And as we do our homework and put the material out there. If you have any questions, if you have any concerns, if you have any topics that you want us to discuss, please just send us a communication, and Dr. McDonald and I will do our best to facilitate all requests that are sent forward. But you be blessed and you have a great day. Dr. Maria, in the last 15 seconds, what you got to say to our listening audience as we
Oh,
head on out?
okay. I'll say to our audience, if you have come out of a relationship, sit down, look at the whole big picture, and you determine how quickly you want to move forward. If you are ready to start a relationship, you determine that. I say it probably will take some people 2 to 2.5 years, but for you, you may need only a matter of 1 year.
Yeah,
So you make the call, but make sure when you make the call that you are healed.
powerful stuff. Powerful stuff. Because we leave with this: hurting people do one thing, hurt people. And we want to stop that from happening. We want our relationship to be grounded in love and to be grounded in a helpful spirit where we're helping each other mature and grow to the beautiful people that God has designed us to be. Until next time, same place, same time. Tell someone, come and join us. See you then. Have a good week.
Bye.